Okay, magandang araw sa lahat. So sa video na ito ay i-discuss ko ang tungkol sa slope fields. So anong slope fields, paano ito ini-sketch, at ano yung gamit nito sa pag-analyze natin ng mga differential equations. Now, slope fields involve the first derivative of a function. So i-recall muna natin kung ano yung alam natin sa geometric interpretation ng derivative. So we are given a curve, y equals f of x. So ang alam natin yung first derivative ng function, if we evaluate, so yung first derivative is the function that gives the slope of the tangent line. In other words, kapag in-evaluate natin yung first derivative at some value of x, say x naught, itong f prime of x naught will now give the slope. So f prime of x naught equals the slope of the tangent line at x equals x naught. So halimbawa ito yung curve ko given by this red figure, and then let me draw the x-axis. Okay. Di ko na i-drawing yung y-axis because we just need the x-axis for this particular illustration. So halimbawa andito yung x naught, and then andito ngayon yung tangent line natin, and this tangent line will have slope which is equal to f prime of x naught. Okay. So I think most of you are familiar with this geometric interpretation of the derivative. Now the good thing about the derivative, specifically just the first derivative, is that it follows the shape of the curve. So kung pataas yung curve natin, positive yung slope ng ating tangent line. Kung pababa yung curve natin, negative din yung slope niya. And I'm going to show you using this demonstration from Desmos that if we have sufficiently many tangent lines, we can actually have an idea of the shape of the curve. So let me show you this Desmos demonstration. Yung link dito ay ilalagay ko sa description. Okay. So, una ay ipakita ko muna yung curve natin. Maybe pakita ko rin yung mga axis. So, x-axis, y-axis. Yan. So, in this curve, you can actually plot several tangent lines. You can change the function which is given here. So, here, meron tayong sin x. So, once you have access to this demonstration, pwede nyong palitan ito ng kung anumang function na gusto nyo. So, for now, let's use sin x. And then, I'm going to plot certain points along this curve. Ito yon, given by these black dots. And I'm going to draw using I'm going to draw the tangent lines at these points. And then you can use the slider to increase the length of the tangent lines. But yung gusto natin, yung magagamit natin specifically ay yung short tangent line. So tangent line segments, in other words. So as you can see, they follow the shape of the curve. Now suppose hindi natin alam yung curve, which is the business of dealing with differential equations. So ang alam lang natin ay, if we have a first order equation, ang alam natin ay yung first derivative. We don't know what the function is. Now, suppose alam natin kung ano yung first derivative, ano yung expression that gives the first derivative, then we know the tangent lines at any point in two-dimensional space. So, dito, nakikita pa natin yung curve. But when we're dealing with differential equations, hindi natin alam yung curve. But we can plot the tangent lines. Since kung given yung first derivative, if we have a first order equation, then we can draw the tangent lines. So ito na ngayon yung meron tayo. And as you can see, this collection of tangent lines follow the contour or the shape of the curve. And the more tangent lines you draw, the better idea you have of what the curve actually looks like. Now, if you remember from our previous lesson, given a differential equation, kung wala tayong initial values, how many solutions do we have? We have infinitely many. So you can plot as many solutions as you want in a certain subregion of the Cartesian plane. And so if we have a differential equation, itong curve na to, this is just one of the possible solutions, for example. But given a differential equation, we'll have a bunch of solutions across space. And ang gamit ng slope fields is it will give us an idea of the general look of those solutions. Okay. So let's define. So before I actually illustrate to you an example of a slope field, define muna natin. Now for this lesson, we're going to assume that the derivative of y is a function in two variables x, y. Okay. So this is the definition of a slope field. It's sometimes called the direction field as well. Okay, so this is the definition of a slope field. So a slope field, again also known as direction field, is a graph that contains small tangent line segments to solutions of a first order equation. Okay. So papakita ko sa inyo ang isang example ng slope field. Let me go to Desmos again. And I will have another Desmos demonstration. Again, yung link sa demonstration na to ay nasa comment section lang. Okay. Now, i-hide ko muna yung axis natin. Ayan. So here, we're working on the equation y prime is equal to f of xy. And then, pwede nyong baguhin yung f of xy. In this case, yung f of xy natin ay x squared minus 1. And then, Desmos will give you the plot of the slope field. Okay. So again, sabi ko kanina, the slope field will give us an idea of the general shape of the solutions to a differential equation. So there's infinitely many of them, but just looking at this slope field, we can infer immediately that the solutions will start in an upward direction. So upward and bababa, and then tataas ulit. So parang ganito. upward, baba, and then tataas ulit. Now, the differential equation here is y prime equals x squared minus 1. So, let me just plot one solution. So, again, yung equation natin, y prime is equal to x squared minus 1. You can actually just solve this by integrating both sides. So, try to do that. Yung general solution natin is of the form y is equal to x cubed. Let me see kung matatype ko. X cubed over 3 plus x, then plus c. So let me add 1, for example. Okay, so again, yung differential equation natin ay y prime equals x squared minus 1. So how do you solve this? You just integrate both sides. So when you integrate both sides, we got x cubed over 3 minus x ito dapat, and then plus c, which is yung constant of integration natin. And as you can see, yung solution natin, it does follow the shape of yung flow, which is given by the slope field. This is just one of the infinitely many solutions to this equation. We can have C. Okay, so yun yung difference sa mga solutions natin. They vary by a constant. So I'm going to create a vector here which gives several values of C. Nakita na natin yung C equals 1, C equals 2, ito yung itsura, C equals 3, C equals 4, C equals 0, C equals -1, and C equals -2. So there. So ang point dito is from the slope field, we can glean or we can have a glimpse of what the solutions look like. So sa next video natin is we'll get to the main business of this lesson, which is how to sketch a slope field.